Kanye West. A name that once defined music, fashion, and controversy now stands at the center of one of the most disturbing legal battles in pop culture history. Behind the platinum records and global fashion deals, a darker story is emerging, one that includes allegations of drugging, assault, and the kind of behind-the-scenes behavior no one expected to surface. And what's coming to light could end everything. In June 2024, a lawsuit quietly landed in a Los Angeles courtroom. It was filed by Lauren Pisciotta, someone who once worked closely with Kanye West as his assistant. On paper, the lawsuit looked routine: allegations of unpaid wages, emotional distress, and wrongful termination. Hollywood HR disputes like this happen all the time and rarely make headlines. But Lauren's story didn't end there. It was just getting started. Over the next few months, whispers began to circulate. Something about the case wasn't adding up. Lauren reportedly vanished from social media. Friends said she went into hiding, and when her legal team returned to court in October, they dropped a bombshell that changed everything. The lawsuit was amended, and the new details were terrifying. According to the revised claim, Lauren alleged that during a late-night studio session in Los Angeles, Kanye West didn't just harass her, he drugged and assaulted her. The session, she said, wasn't just a regular work night. It was hosted by none other than Diddy Combs, who at the time was already under intense scrutiny for a mountain of accusations that spanned decades. Lauren recalled being handed a drink. Nothing unusual, until it was. She said she took a few sips and started to feel strange. Her vision blurred. Her body felt heavy. She lost her sense of time. The next thing she remembered was waking up in a completely different location, unsure of how she got there. Her clothes disheveled and her body aching in ways she couldn't explain. No recollection of what had happened the night before. No memory of how she got out of the studio. Just fear and shame. And a gut feeling that something awful had taken place. She later claimed that after she confronted Kanye privately, things got worse. She says she was fired without warning, threatened with legal action, and told to never speak on that night again. And behind closed doors, she says she was met with intimidation, not just from Kanye, but from others connected to the session. She hinted at a larger network of powerful people who allegedly helped cover it up. Her lawyers described the incident as part of a wider pattern of abuse and exploitation involving not just Kanye, but other figures in the industry. Suddenly, this wasn't just a lawsuit. It was a time bomb, one that threatened to blow open years of hidden behavior from one of the most polarizing figures in entertainment.
Right? And I decided to start doing music, and people said
they weren't the only ones. And what would surface next would leave fans and the music world in total shock. Then came the second bombshell. In November 2024, a woman named Jen Ann stepped forward with a lawsuit of her own. She claimed that way back in 2010, during a music video shoot at New York's infamous Chelsea Hotel, Kanye assaulted her in a shockingly graphic way. According to the filing, Kanye allegedly choked her and forced his fingers down her throat while shouting, "This is art!" She said she was frozen, terrified, and felt completely powerless. No camera crew, no safety protocol, no one stepped in. It was 14 years ago, but her trauma, she says, never faded. And her decision to come forward now, fueled by seeing other women speak up. You might expect Kanye, never one to shy away from controversy, to lash out on social media or drop a diss track. But this time, total silence. No tweets, no press releases, no interviews. Why? Because he wasn't even in the country. According to court filings, Kanye was living in Tokyo during this time, effectively delaying his legal response. Critics accused him of hiding out to avoid being served. His team called it a coincidence. Eventually, he responded through legal channels, denying the allegations and calling them baseless. His lawyers even went so far as to accuse Pisciotta of trying to extort him, but the silence from Kanye himself spoke volumes. As if the lawsuits and public allegations weren't enough to shake Kanye West's empire, a third, and perhaps most damning, legal claim emerged in early 2025. This one came from within his own inner circle, a place where many believed Kanye's genius thrived, but few dared to speak out about what really went on behind closed doors. A former employee of Yeezy, Kanye's flagship brand and creative hub, filed a lawsuit accusing him of creating a toxic and abusive work environment. The allegations were not just about bad management or occasional outbursts. They described a pattern of cruelty and intimidation that went deep. In court documents, this former employee painted a picture of a workplace ruled by fear, where Kanye was the undisputed authority, but one who didn't just command respect, he demanded absolute obedience through threats, verbal abuse, and outright discrimination. They accused Kanye of making repeated anti-Semitic remarks, words so severe and shocking, they sent ripples through the industry and media once they leaked. But it didn't stop there. The lawsuit detailed how Kanye bullied female employees, creating an atmosphere where harassment was rampant and complaints were ignored or punished. The most chilling part,
a lot of times. So
disturbing comparisons of his own persona to Adolf Hitler. An unthinkable statement that added a terrifying layer to his already controversial public image. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. This wasn't about two isolated incidents or a few bad decisions. This was a consistent pattern, allegedly unfolding over more than a decade. From music studios to fashion runways, from late-night meetings to boardroom discussions, dozens of people were said to have endured his controlling, manipulative, and degrading behavior. This was no longer the unpredictable, eccentric artist fans once admired or feared. This was a man wielding power like a weapon, using it to dominate everyone around him. And now, the walls of Kanye West's carefully constructed empire were closing in fast. Every lawsuit, every accusation, every leaked document chipped away at the public image he had spent years building. More than that, it exposed a much darker reality, one that raised uncomfortable questions about how much of Kanye's behavior was tolerated, ignored, or even enabled by those closest to him. The question everyone started asking was simple, yet terrifying. If this was the truth, how many others had suffered in silence? And as the legal battles piled up, Kanye's future, both legally and culturally, looked more uncertain than ever before. Kanye's legal team is pushing hard to get the cases dismissed. They claim there's no proof, that these are just money grabs, but the court isn't buying it yet. The next pretrial conference for Pisciotta's lawsuit is scheduled for March 27th, 2025, and insiders say Jenon's case could go to trial before the end of the year. Meanwhile, Kanye remains mostly out of public view. No major appearances, no live shows, and no new music. Just a slow unraveling of the empire he spent 2 decades building. Adidas dropped him. Gap, gone. Balenciaga, cut ties. His Yeezy website, offline. The fallout is already happening, and it's only just begun. Unsurprisingly, the internet is torn. Some fans say the allegations are false, that it's all a coordinated attack to cancel him. Others say the pattern is too obvious to ignore. TikTokers are posting breakdowns of his past interviews. Reddit threads are dissecting lyrics for hidden meanings. Even celebrities are starting to distance themselves. People who once praised him are going silent. And while Kanye's supporters claim it's a witch hunt, the court of public opinion is shifting fast. This isn't just about one artist. This is about the culture of celebrity protection. And whether Kanye West, one of the most polarizing figures in entertainment history, will finally face the consequences. For years, Kanye West thrived on chaos, turning controversy into profit and outrage into headlines. But this time, it's different. These aren't wild tweets or fashion stunts. These are deeply serious allegations, backed by legal filings and traumatized accusers. And if even part of what's being said turns out to be true, the legacy of Kanye West won't be genius. It'll be disgrace. So the question isn't just, did he do it? It's, how many people looked the other way for so long, and why? Because whether or not he ever sets foot in court, his trial in the eyes of the world has already begun. Please note, the information shared here is based on the latest available reports and may change as the legal proceedings continue. We'll keep watching closely and update you as the story unfolds.